my goodness. Russell Westbrook madness. That's all I can call it at this point, because all we're hearing is it's terrible. The relationship is icy. And next thing you know, Chris Haynes is coming out with a report saying LeBron and Russell Westbrook and Anthony Davis are on a phone call and they're committing to each other and back and forth. And Russell Westbrook is firing his agent somewhere in there because the agent wants him to stay with the Lakers, which implies that he doesn't want to stay with the Lakers. Who knows where anything is at this point, Keith? My head is spinning. Maybe, though, it's because I am too absorbed into all of this. You're a little bit further removed. Can you make any sense of what is going on here with the Lakers and Russell Westbrook?
You look to the wrong place for help, my friend, because I don't know that I'm going to get you there. But I do think there was probably my thought was when we saw the statement to ESPN from Thad Foucher's former agent about how basically they were splitting up, and then more detail in a statement like that than we've ever seen before.
Right.
Very detailed around like this is where it was, and as you said, he lent it to believe he has been counseling Westbrook of, hey, let's just see this through. Let's see what Darvin Ham's plan is. Let's see where this is. Now, Westbrook only has so much say anyway, right? He's under contract, no kind of options, none of that stuff. So the Lakers can trade him whenever they want and do whatever they want. They could also waive him if they wanted. But it was also made very clear several times by several people that Russell Westbrook has never asked for a trade from the Lakers either. He's just, content to well, he's content to be there. But yeah, and that's the other thing is like, does he need to? I mean, I think we all know they're have kind of openly shopped him for going on 6 months or so now. So I think this is one where, for me, unless there's a Kyrie Irving trade, or a much bigger, wild, the kind of thing that people who spend all day on the trade machine dream up actually comes to life, happens. I think he's going to go to camp with the Lakers, and we're going to see what this looks like and play it out. And my guess is it's probably LeBron looking at it and saying, all right, it's mid-July. We're all about to go on vacation, like real vacations for, a month or so. Let's get everybody together. Let's just have a quick chat to say like, hey, can we kind of, just are we all good? We're good. All right, we'll see everybody in September, and then we go from there.
Right. And I mean, this means, the Lakers are still going to do what they can to move him.
Sure.
This is, for most Lakers fans, this is devastating. Let's just be honest, right? The idea of Russell Westbrook in uniform again next season is horrifying. But I also think he's better than what we saw last season. Not to say it will work or it's going to work if he does come back. I also think it's interesting that we've seen Chris Haynes, Woj, everybody has mentioned if he returns next season. And this, I don't think this is locked in. He's back next season. That's it. This is done. I think they're still going to do what they can to move him. They're just saying, look, in the event that you wind up back on the team next season, let's make sure that we know where everything's at and we can bring you into training camp, because that was some of the discussion this morning. We had Jovan Buha from The Athletic mention that, look, LeBron, Russ, I mean, clearly the Lakers have been shopping him, the stuff with the agent. This is getting worse, and maybe we start getting to the point where they just tell him stay home. Like that's what we were looking at. So perhaps this is sort of pushing back against that narrative and saying, look, it's not that bad. It's not at that stage right now.
Yeah, I don't think this is a, from the player or team side, a Ben Simmons situation where it's like, oh gosh, like everybody just stay away. This is going to be too bad for everybody. I think this is a situation of, hey, let's get into camp. Let's see where it goes. At this point, not to get too crazy with it, and we'll talk about it. We're probably going to save the Lakers offseason review a little bit later, just because if they do make a trade, we don't have to redo the whole thing. But if he is back, they kind of need him because they don't have a ton at point guard. That is still kind of a little bit of a position of need, quite frankly. And some of that is, well, we've got Kim at $47 million. We've got Kendrick Nunn at $5 million. That's already $52 million in this one position. How much money are we going to invest in this one spot? But I think it's one of those things where my guess is Darvin Ham is kind of in the lab with his assistants working on, and if we bring Russ back and we got to run with this, How do we make this work? And it's funny because now you're seeing some resurfacing of like, if he just cuts more, if he does this, if he does that, if play him off the ball, all these things. And it's like, yeah, we've been talking about this since he was with
For
the Thunder
years.
with Kevin Durant.
Yes.
Like, is he capable of changing? Maybe he is. I mean, he's deep into his career. Maybe he is going to be like, hey, I got to show I can do some stuff. But I still don't think any of that precludes the Lakers from all the way up into and including the trade deadline, trying to trade him. I think they're going to continue to keep working on it because I think they know in their heart of hearts, no matter how good it's going, there's better fits and they could be doing something better with somebody else. So yeah, I don't know that the three of them talking really changes all that much beyond, yeah, hey, we're all on the same page. You'd be ready to work in September when we regroup. Let's go. And I think that's kind of, not uncommon. I think it's just more of, hey, we got to talk because everybody saw us not talk in Vegas and, all that stuff. And off we go.
Now, the report was that they talked during Summer League. They all hopped on the phone, which then people are saying, well, why did LeBron and Russell Westbrook not even acknowledge each other at Summer League? It was odd. But in any event, we always talk about reading between the lines, trying to figure out who benefits, potentially where this could have come from. Where do you think this is coming from, this report, and who benefits from it?
It's probably, my guess is more from the Lakers side of things. Lakers and maybe combined with, and I'm not trying to make the cheap Lakers clutch or the same thing joke. But I do wonder if it's Lakers and LeBron camp, a little bit of, hey, before everybody kind of goes their separate ways here for the next month and a half, let's make sure we get something out there that, like, hey, these guys are actually good because we don't need the rampant speculation continuing to go on and on. Because I mean, you know it and feel it way more than I do. I mean, when they didn't talk at Summer League, all my timeline was for 2 days was these two guys hate each other and it's done and the Lakers are falling apart and all that stuff. And none of that I think is true. So my guess is it was probably Lakers, LeBron camp combined of, hey, let's make sure everybody knows, like, we've talked, we're all on the same page, we're ready to go.
Yep. Yeah, I can see that again, particularly with the report coming out this morning where they're talking about how it's, Jovan Buha saying that maybe it's getting close to, hey, Russ, just don't come to camp. That type of situation. I think this is kind of a response to that to some degree. But in any event,
to be honest, though, would it shock you if tomorrow it was like, Russ, don't come to camp?
No.
Like, none of this would surprise me at this point.
No. At this point, we've heard so many leaks and counter leaks and so many different things about different players, and who knows exactly where this is going to.
That ship's so leaky. That thing's sitting on the bottom of the ocean right now.
Right now, all we're hearing is everything from we've heard every single rumor out there, and who knows ultimately where this is going to wind up.